Hey, you busy sales leader. You're looking for real ways to pump up your inside sales numbers without getting lost in complicated theories. Now, you need practical stuff that works, fast. Well, today we're digging into something that can seriously change how your inside sales team performs, how you manage your leads with your IT systems.
Exactly. We're talking about the tools your inside sales teams use every day to connect with potential customers from afar, phone calls, emails, the whole digital shebang. And here's the kicker. Marketing teams spend a lot of money and effort bringing in these potential customers, but way too often they just vanish. They don't get followed up with properly. It's like leaving money on the table.
Absolutely. So think of this as your quick guide to fixing that leaky bucket. We've been looking closely at a study from the Journal of Business Research called The Role of Lead Management Systems in Inside Sales Performance.
Ah.
Now, a lot of sales advice focuses on old school face-to-face selling, but this study zeroes in on inside sales, which, let's be honest, operates on a whole different set of rules.
It really does. Inside sales lives and dies by numbers, clear steps, and the technology you use. This research gives us solid proof on how these lead management systems truly impact the things you care about most. Your team's ability to close deals and hit those targets.
So our goal today is simple. Pull out the most useful hands-on advice from this research that you can take and use to make your inside sales team more effective, starting as soon as tomorrow. Okay, let's get right to it. Why is it such a big deal when leads aren't managed well?
Well, the study points out a pretty clear problem. A large chunk of leads that marketing generates never even get a call. Salespeople just don't connect with them. Think about all the marketing dollars wasted on leads that then just sit there. This can happen for, simple reasons like bad habits, but it's often a sign that the systems for handling those leads just aren't up to par.
Which brings us to what this study's all about. Lead management systems, or LMS. These are the tech tools designed to make managing potential customers easier and more automated. Now, the research highlights two main types of these systems, and understanding this difference, it can be a game changer for you.
Yep. The first kind is what we can call list-based. Imagine your salespeople looking at a long list of all the potential customers. It's mostly up to them, to decide who to contact and when. Their gut feeling and personal approach are big factors in which leads get attention.
Right. It's like saying, here's everyone who might be interested. Good luck figuring out who's actually ready to buy.
Yeah.
The other type is queue-based. Now, this is where things get really interesting for boosting your team's efficiency. These systems use rules that you set up for your company. The system automatically looks at the leads and gives each salesperson what it figures is the next best lead to contact. So, based on your company's priorities, the system is helping to decide which lead gets worked on right now. These systems often use, behind-the-scenes calculations, things like how interested the lead seems when they last interacted, or even basic details to automatically push the most promising leads to your team.
Exactly. And how these systems organize and prioritize leads makes a huge difference. The main question the researchers wanted to answer was basically, how does using an LMS affect the key things that help inside sales teams succeed? They wanted to see how these systems impact the actions and abilities that, lead to more closed deals.
Okay, so the million-dollar question. How do these LMS systems actually boost sales performance? What did this study uncover?
Okay, so the study looked at several things, but 4 key areas really stood out where using an LMS led to improvements, and these improvements then resulted in better sales numbers. The first one is how well salespeople tailor their approach.
Okay, let's break that down in simple terms. What does it mean for a salesperson to tailor their approach?
Think of your best salespeople. They don't use the exact same pitch with everyone, right? They listen, they figure out what each customer needs, and they adjust what they say and how they say it to fit that specific person. That's what we're talking about, changing their sales style based on what they learn about the customer. The top performers are great at adapting.
So how does the LMS help them do that? It's just software, right?
Well, what's really interesting is that the research found that using an LMS actually makes salespeople better at this tailoring. The reason is that these systems can hold a lot of useful information about each lead things, like what they've looked at on your website, any past conversations, their job title, and so on. This information helps the salesperson have a smarter conversation, make their pitch more relevant to that specific lead's needs. It's like giving your team the background info they need to connect better.
That makes sense. If you know a little about their history, you're not just making a blind guess. What's the next key thing that gets better with LMS?
The second is how consistently and thoroughly salespeople follow up with leads. This is about how well your team stays in touch, answers questions, and keeps the conversation going until a deal is done or, it's clear the lead isn't a good fit.
And I'm guessing this study found that an LMS helps with this too. Because let's be real, keeping on top of follow-ups can be a real challenge for busy sales teams.
Absolutely. The research showed that using an LMS improves how intensely salespeople follow up. They even found something really important. Leads that are contacted quickly, like within the first 5 days after showing interest, are much more likely to end up buying.
Wow, 5 days, that's fast.
It is. An LMS can help by automatically reminding salespeople when to follow up, scheduling tasks, and generally making sure leads don't get forgotten. It just makes the practical side of making those follow-up calls and emails much easier to manage.
Okay, speed and consistency in follow-up are crucial. Got it. What about the salespeople's own abilities? How does an LMS affect their skills?
The study looked at 2 key sets of skills. First, how much they know about the business. Now, this isn't about technical know-how like coding or anything. Here, it means a salesperson's understanding of the market, your products, your company's rules and processes, and what your competitors are doing.
So the kind of knowledge that makes them a trusted expert, not just someone reading from a script.
Exactly. And the research found that using an LMS actually boosts this business knowledge. Think about it. The system can be a central place for all that information. It gives salespeople easy access to details about your products, the market you're in, and even what your competitors are offering, all within the tools they use every day.
That makes sense. It's like having a constantly updated knowledge base right there when they need it.
Okay.
What's the other skill set this study looked at?
The final key area is basic sales skills. These are the core abilities you need to find good customers, figure out if they're a good fit, show them how your product solves their problems, handle objections, and, ultimately close the deal, the fundamentals.
And how does technology help with those more traditional sales skills? Seems a bit counterintuitive.
Well, what's really interesting is that the LMS provides tools and information that directly support these skills. For example, it can help with finding better leads by showing which ones are most promising based on past data. It can help with figuring out if a lead is a good fit by giving access to their company size or industry. And features like email templates or call scripts can help salespeople communicate more effectively and handle common objections. So it's not replacing the salesperson, but it's giving them the resources they need to be even better at the core aspects of selling.
So it's not taking away the human touch, but it's equipping salespeople with the information and structure to be more effective in their interactions.
Okay, this all makes good sense. Were there any surprises in the research? Anything that goes against what we might normally think?
Absolutely. Here's where it gets really interesting for how you manage your team. The study found that just the number of calls a salesperson made didn't directly lead to better sales results overall. Wait a minute. That's probably not what a lot of sales managers want to hear. The old saying is more calls, more sales, right?
Exactly. But this research suggests it's not just about hitting a high number of dials. It's about making good calls to the right leads and following up consistently and quickly, which goes back to that follow-up intensity we talked about. It's the quality and focus of the calls that matters most, not just the sheer quantity.
Okay, that's a really important point for sales leaders to understand. So just pushing for more calls isn't necessarily the answer. But was that the whole story with call quantity?
Not quite. When the researchers looked specifically at the companies that were using those queue-based LMS systems, the ones that automatically assign the next best lead, they saw something different. In that group, using the LMS did lead to an increase in the number of calls made.
Ah, okay. Why the difference there? What makes those queue-based systems special when it comes to call volume?
The likely reason is that when the system is automatically feeding salespeople the next lead to call, they spend less time trying to figure out who to call next. It takes away that administrative task, of lead selection. It frees them up to just focus on making calls and having conversations. It streamlines their workflow.
Ah, so it's about making things more efficient. The system handles the decision of who to call so the salesperson can just get on with the selling part.
Precisely. And the study also indicated that overall, those queue-based systems seem to have a stronger positive effect compared to the general group of companies. This suggests there might be significant advantages in how leads are prioritized and managed in those more automated systems.
So if you're running a team on a more basic list-based system, this research might be telling you that you're potentially missing out on some real gains in both efficiency and focus. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. For a sales leader listening to this, what are the most important things they should take away? What are some concrete actions they can consider?
Yeah, this research really provides some clear direction for sales leaders looking to improve their inside sales teams. Here are 3 key things you can think about implementing almost immediately.
Let's hear them. What's the first thing a sales leader should do?
Key takeaway, #1. Take a close look at how your team is actually using your current lead management system. Don't just assume it's working wonders because you have one in place. Encourage your team to use it to find out more about each lead so they can personalize their approach. That's the adaptive selling we talked about. Make sure they're using it to keep track of their follow-ups and to learn more about the leads, your products, and even your competitors. Review how effectively they're using features related to lead history, product info, competitive intelligence, all that good stuff.
So it's not enough to just have the tool. You need to make sure your team is using it strategically to be more informed and effective in their selling. What's the second actionable step?
Key takeaway, #2. Make speed and consistency in your lead follow-up a top priority. The research really hammered home how important it is to reach out to leads quickly after they show interest. Examine your current processes. Are there any roadblocks that slow down follow-up? Can you use your LMS features to automate reminders or make follow-up tasks easier to manage? Focus on getting in touch with those leads fast that can significantly increase your chances of a sale.
Speed is key. Got it. And what's the final practical takeaway for our listeners?
Key takeaway, #3. If you're currently using a list-based system to manage your leads, seriously consider the potential benefits of switching to a queue-based system. The research suggests that this approach can lead to your salespeople making more calls to the leads that are most likely to buy, and it can also make your team more efficient by automatically handling the job of deciding which lead to work on next. Think about whether your current system is set up in the best way to get the right leads to the right salespeople at the right time.
So it's about really digging into your current systems and processes and seeing where you can add more smarts and automation to get better results. This has been really valuable.
It has. And this research really underscores that effectively using your lead management systems, focusing on helping your salespeople tailor their approach, boosting how well they follow up, and continuously improving their knowledge and sales skills. These are the key levers you have to drive better inside sales performance.
So as you head back to lead your teams, think about this. This research suggests that how you manage your leads, the systems you use, and the behaviors they encourage might be even more important than just the total number of activities. What changes could you make to help your team focus on smarter, more personalized engagement?
That's a really important question for every sales leader to consider, a really good takeaway point.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We hope these insights give you some new ways to think about your inside sales strategy. If you have more questions or want to share your own experiences with lead management systems, we'd love to hear from you.